The child was shaking so hard that even the streetlight seemed to flicker with him. No one noticed at first. Cars rushed past, tires hissing against the wet asphalt. Neon signs buzzed overhead, casting restless colors across the empty sidewalk. It was the kind of night people hurried through, heads down, hearts closed, eyes fixed on getting somewhere safer, warmer, better. But he stayed there, small, alone, trembling. His name was Eli, and he clutched a worn-out backpack like it was the only thing tethering him to the world. His breath came in short bursts, fogging the cold air. Every sound made him flinch, the slam of a car door, the distant bark of a dog, even the wind rattling a loose sign above him. He kept glancing over his shoulder, like someone might come back, like someone already had. "Don't cry," he whispered to himself, voice cracking. "Don't cry, don't cry." But the tears came anyway. He wasn't sure how long he'd been standing there. Minutes felt like hours when fear settled into your bones. The city felt too big, too loud, too uncaring. And Eli felt very, very small. Then came a sound that cut through everything. A low rumble. At first it was distant, a vibration in the ground, a growl that grew louder, deeper, closer. Motorcycles. Eli stiffened. The stories he'd heard weren't kind. Big men in leather jackets, loud engines, trouble, people you avoided. The rumble grew until it filled the street, echoing between buildings like thunder trapped in steel, and then silence. 6 motorcycles rolled to a stop at the edge of the sidewalk. Engines idled for a moment, then shut off one by one. The sudden quiet felt heavier than the noise. Eli didn't move. His fingers tightened around his backpack. His heart pounded so loudly he was sure they could hear it. Boots hit the pavement. Heavy, slow, approaching. "Hey," a voice said gently. Eli looked up. The man standing in front of him didn't match the fear in his mind. Yes, he was big. Broad shoulders, leather jacket, tattoos creeping up his neck. But his eyes were soft. "You okay, kid?" the man asked. Eli didn't answer. He couldn't. Another biker stepped closer, removing his helmet. His beard was streaked with gray, his expression calm but concerned. "Easy," he murmured to the first man. "He's scared." "I can see that," the first replied quietly. Then, crouching down so he was at eye level with Eli, he added, "We're not gonna hurt you, I promise." Eli swallowed hard. Promises didn't always mean anything. I'm fine," he whispered, though his shaking said otherwise. The men exchanged glances. "No kid shakes like that and is fine," the gray-bearded biker said softly. "What's your name?" "Eli. Eli," the man repeated, like it mattered, like it was important to get it right. "I'm Marcus. That's Ray. And those troublemakers back there are just loud, not dangerous." A couple of the bikers chuckled, softly, keeping their distance so they wouldn't overwhelm him. Marcus leaned slightly forward. "You waiting for someone?" Eli hesitated. His eyes flickered again toward the dark street behind him. "No." The word was small, too small. Ray's expression tightened just a fraction. "Did someone bring you here?" Silence. "Did someone leave you here?" Marcus asked, voice even gentler now. Eli's lip trembled, and then, like a dam breaking, he nodded. They said they'd come back," he whispered. "But they didn't." The wind picked up, carrying the weight of his words with it. The bikers didn't speak for a moment. Sometimes the truth needed space to land. Marcus exhaled slowly. "How long ago?" "I don't know." Eli's voice cracked. "A long time." Ray glanced up and down the street, his jaw tightening. "You got family, kid?" Eli shook his head. The word hung unspoken, but they all heard it anyway. "No one." Marcus rubbed the back of his neck, eyes scanning the empty road. Then he looked back at Eli. "You eaten anything tonight?" Another small shake of the head. That was enough. Marcus stood up. "All right," he said, his tone shifting, not harsh, but firm, decided. "We're not leaving you out here." Eli's eyes widened slightly. I don't want trouble." "You're not trouble," Ray said immediately. "You're a kid who needs help, that's it." "But, no buts," Marcus interrupted gently. "We've all been lost at some point, Eli. Difference is, someone helped us. Now it's our turn." Eli looked between them. Something in their voices. It didn't feel fake. It didn't feel dangerous. It felt safe. And that scared him almost as much. Because hope could hurt. "Come on," Ray said, shrugging off his jacket and draping it over Eli's shoulders. It was warm, heavy, protective. Let's get you somewhere you can sit, okay? Eli hesitated, then slowly, he nodded. They led him to a small diner just down the street. The neon sign flickered, and the bell above the door chimed as they entered. Inside, the warmth wrapped around him instantly. The smell of coffee and fried food filled the air. For the first time that night, Eli stopped shaking. They sat him in a booth. Marcus slid in across from him, while Ray disappeared briefly and returned with a glass of water. "Drink," he said kindly. Eli obeyed, his hands still trembling slightly. A waitress approached, raising an eyebrow at the group, but her expression softened when she saw Eli. "What can I get you?" she asked. "Everything," Marcus said. "Whatever he wants." Eli blinked. I don't know what to pick." Ray smiled. "Then we'll start simple. Burger, fries, hot chocolate. Sound good?" Eli nodded faintly. As the food came, something began to change. At first, Eli ate cautiously like it might be taken away. But when no one stopped him, when no one rushed him, when no one demanded anything in return, he ate and ate and ate. The bikers watched quietly, giving him space. Finally, Eli slowed, his shoulders relaxing for the first time. Marcus leaned forward slightly. "Better." Eli nodded. "Good," Marcus said, then more gently, "Now tell us what happened." Eli stared at his hands. For a moment it seemed like he wouldn't speak. Then quietly, he did. "My mom, she got sick," he said. "And then she didn't get better. Why Dad left, it was just us. And then, after she was gone, I had to stay with people I didn't know." His voice tightened. "They said they'd take care of me, but they didn't like me. I think I made things worse." Hung heavy. "And tonight?" Ray asked softly. "They put me in the car," Eli whispered. "Drove for a long time. Then they stopped. Said they'd be right back." His fingers clenched. They never came back. Silence filled the booth. But this time, it wasn't empty. It was full of something else. Anger. Not loud, not explosive, but deep, steady, protective. Marcus leaned back, exhaling slowly. "All right," he said quietly. "That's enough." Eli looked up, confused. "Enough?" "Enough of you thinking any of this is your fault," Marcus said. "Because it's not." Ray nodded. "Not even a little." Eli blinked. No one had ever said that to him before. Not like that. Not like they meant it. "So, what happens now?" Eli asked, his voice small again, but not as broken. Marcus and Ray exchanged a glance. Then Marcus smiled. "Well," he said, "now we make sure you're not alone anymore." That night changed everything. They didn't just leave him at a shelter. They stayed. They made calls, asked questions, pulled every string they had. And in the days that followed, something unexpected happened. The bikers, those men people crossed the street to avoid, became Eli's shield. They visited him, checked on him, brought him food, stories, laughter. Slowly the fear in his eyes began to fade. In its place, something new grew, trust, hope. And one day, weeks later, as Eli stood outside a small, welcoming home, his new foster placement, he looked up at Marcus. "Why did you stop?" he asked. Marcus tilted his head. "What do you mean?" "That night," Eli said, "you could have just kept going. Everyone else did." Marcus smiled softly. "Because," he said, "once upon a time, I was the kid on the sidewalk." Eli's eyes widened. "And someone stopped for me," Marcus continued. "Didn't have to, but they did." He crouched down, meeting Eli's gaze. "Kindness doesn't fix everything," he said, "but sometimes it's enough to change everything." Eli nodded slowly. He understood. As the bikers rode away that day, engines rumbling into the distance, Eli didn't feel alone anymore, because he knew something now. In a world that could be cold, loud, and unforgiving, there were still people who would stop, people who would care, people who would choose kindness even when it wasn't easy. And sometimes, that was all it took to turn fear into hope.